Please don't take Cody One Among Us and you from me.
It's the only thing keeping them afloat.
Start your sublight engines. It's time for Rupert's Pod Race, a queer Star Wars podcast, and welcome back to another week of chaos. I'm Noah, my pronouns are he, him, and my gender this week is Obi-Wan Kenobi wearing a little fruity pair of booty shorts that says, "The Force won't let me die on the ass," on Tatooine. That's where I'm at this week.
Oh my god.
That's my power.
We're starting off strong, girlies. My name is Ollie, my pronouns are they, them, and my gender this week is gay pride stormtrooper Funko Pop.
Homophobia in the chat tonight is, I am under attack. I'm under fire.
I think we need to find a new host to replace Ollie.
Yeah.
So
auditions
if you could come on, we've got time. We've got a new space.
Hi, my name is Mel. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me on TikTok at GrunkleRex, and my gender this week is Wrecker and Marie Kondo's Target Home Collection.
What?
Can it be in the little, like, the white girl font that's like home, like the really tall letters on the white
Ray Dunn.
ceramics?
The
Yeah,
black
exactly.
Fuck me, I should have said Wrecker X Ray Dunn. God damn it.
Oh god.
Okay, hi, my name's Claudia. My pronouns are she, her. My @ on all social media is Kaludia Says, K-A. My gender of the week is Darth Mulaney.
So
Congrats
upsetting to hear that he killed Princess Diana.
He killed Princess
From
Diana
revenge.
Satine.
No.
Darth Mulaney
Does
killed
that
Duchess Satine.
does that make Obi-Wan into Prince what's his name? That ugly
No,
British dude?
don't
I'm
say
choosing,
that.
and
Oh
oh my
my
god, Cody
God.
is Camilla.
No.
No.
Wait. Is he dead now?
No, he is still alive.
I don't know any of the royals' names.
Unfortunately,
Love.
he is still amongst the
father.
Oh my god,
Yes,
Among
it-
Us in real life.
I'm Jess. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me on most social media at Kawaii Jessio. And my gender this week is tech slanderer, but not really. I just put him at the bottom of my rank list.
Wow.
Passive aggression with a capital P,
Wow.
and I support it.
I also would like to add that we are recording a lot later than we normally would. So if our East Coast friends are a little unhinged, it's because it is currently 11 p.m.
Bold
Anyway,
of you to assume we're not already unhinged.
I was like, are you less unhinged when we record this at like 5? Like, in what world?
no, you're so true, bestie.
Last week we had assigned Lex Bonteri at birth, and that was at the regular recording time. So I don't want to hear that we're more unhinged now than we were last week.
Hey,
I
bad.
will not stand for this.
Yeah, I feel
Fine,
like it's
fine.
just the same amount of unhinged, to be honest.
Is
Just later in the day.
like, okay, is it Bully Ollie Day, or did I miss a memo or something? Because I feel
Yeah.
like this is a little toxic.
Can we do that Phineas and Ferb audio where it's like Do Towards Evil Incorporated after hours, but it's just this podcast after hours because it's later? Can we make that?
That's just our Discord voice chat.
At this point, yeah. So valid of you, bestie.
So do you guys-
Anyway,
Yeah.
Mel,
let's
do you
talk
wanna-
episode 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mel, do you want to lead us into discussing this episode?
I mean, sure. My little point is at the top of the list. I am so happy. This episode started so strong. This episode's called, I think, Replacements. And we immediately got a really great Hunter being a dad moment with iPad baby Omega. Representation is important. Seeing that little iPad baby is inspiring a generation. I really appreciated also just a minute detail that she was like laying on Gonki. I think that's very important, and we need to talk about it more.
Bestie vibes only.
Bestie vibes only.
We were talking about last week that there's not a lovable droid character in Bad Batch, and Gonki's here for us.
Fill in
Yeah,
the
the
role. Showed
canonical
up.
name of the droid is Gonki. We did find that out. So
Thank God it's not a mouse droid because I really wouldn't want to deal with that
No.
on this ship.
The Bad Batch needs to save the MSE6.
That's their next mission. They don't even go back for Crosshair. They go back for MSC6. So like we gotta pick this thing up. Like they're in
Guys,
danger.
We can't keep doing this.
Yeah, just a reminder again. Think
Dave
Think
Filoni
before
isn't-
you speak.
Dave Filoni isn't going to decanonize the sequels. He's going to decanonize up MSC6 and Men. For those of you who don't know who,
That's for the best.
who are listening, a quick primer. There's a book called From a Certain Point of View with a short story in it called Of MSC6 and Men that confirms that Tarkin is gay and hooking up with Stormtrooper TK421. And there's a mouse droid. It is told from the perspective of the mouse droid MSC6. So when we joke about MSC6, that is what you're referring to. That is also the basis of Tarkintok, which is all of us going, why did they make the fascist man gay? It is a commentary. Anyways, continue.
We're also 3 episodes into a podcast. Tarkintok was already in full swing when we recorded episode 1, so I do apologize if you don't already know about that.
If you don't know the lore, I will start gatekeeping.
Let's gatekeep Tarkin.
Can we do that? Because
Well-
I mean, he is a gay character, so he technically belongs to us. Like we have agency and ownership.
Lucasfilms, give me the Tarkin.
But I don't
Give
want
him
the
to me.
Tarkin. I don't want
Too
him.
bad. Assign Tarkin at birth. That's
Not a sign at birth.
Honestly, okay, guys, I really want to talk about the Bad Batch.
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
back on track.
yeah.
Tarkin was in this episode and he
Okay.
got promoted.
And also, to be fair, I do think this is the last time we'll be seeing him for a while. I think
Thank God.
God.
finally fucking peacing out.
Yeah.
Ollie, same mind. Like we understood.
Period.
I think Rampart's gonna be our main Imperial baddie, which I already hate him just about as much as I hate Tarkin. So
Tarkin X Rampart shipping.
Shut up. Think
rather-
before you speak.
I would rather have people ship Rampart and Tarkin than either of them in Crosshair. Keep
So valid,
Crosshair
Dusty.
away from those men.
That's
Okay.
fair.
I agree with Mel. Really loved epic dad moments this episode, and there were so many of them. Like, I will say my favorite moment in the opening of the episode was definitely when Wrecker is like, "We're gonna die," and then he's like, "Oh shit, there's a child here. We're gonna be just fine." I'm like, I want to believe that was more to convince himself than it was for Omega, because that child's like, "Yeah, probably," and he's like, "I gotta believe." Okay, theory. Wrecker is the uncle on the water slide that says he'll go with his nephew, but only does that because he's too scared to go by himself.
Oh,
That is my
absolutely. I am that
analysis.
aunt. I have been that aunt. I am Wrecker. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've gone to the top of the water slide and then walked back down, even though the children went down the water slide. I am Wrecker. Absolutely.
So
I
not to twist
felt
your words, but do you kin Wrecker? Would you say that that's a
Stop!
fair
No,
analysis?
I kin tech. We know I kin tech, but
You said that
I will say-
unironically. Oh,
I very much felt like Wrecker in that moment. Like whenever I go on a roller coaster or anything, I am Wrecker.
I will say this, that one scene, it's a part of like something I've noticed in the past 3 episodes of like making the Star Wars universe very grounded, which is always what the clone episodes always did. Like every single time that Anakin and Ahsoka crashed a ship, they were like, oh well, and they would hop out and they'd be like, boop a doop a doop. And with this, they were like, oh, we crashed the ship. Guess we gotta fix it. Oh, this is legitimately scary. Oh no, oh, I have an injury. Oh, they were like, we have like, they were just like, I guess we need money and food. And this was bad and this was traumatic. And it wasn't just like, oh, Anakin, he did it again. Like, like it was very grounding and it was very cool. I just love that. I just thought that I was like, wow, that's flavor, that's taste. So
I agree 100%. I feel like this episode did a lot to establish the tone that this was going to be a bit more real. There's a lot there. I do think like the first instance of that was when it was like, we're actually running out of food. And I was like, wow, is the Bad Batch gonna starve to death? That's kind of problematic. But my other thing, I think, this is a lot more real because in Clone Wars and in Rebels, all of the Star Wars animated shows, we've seen violence, there's been fighting, but I can't recall a time where we've seen that many people get shot and like killed so brutally.
and specifically civilians.
Correct. It was
Yeah.
not even like, oh, it was in an explosion or it was in some situation. It was like this dude got shot and we saw it happen. It's
I
a
think
very
Rebels,
like different.
there might be a couple moments in Rebels, but I
Not-
haven't watched it in a
Not
while.
really.
Like,
Rebels.
yeah.
Because I watched Rebels just recently, and it like if they did show someone getting shot, they were getting stunned, so they were just passed out on the floor. They weren't actually dead.
Also, rarely I think it happens in Star Wars that our POV character, one of them, is the one doing the actual murdering.
Yeah.
Like, especially because Crosshair is a character that I would hope that they'd set up a redemption arc for, but like this dude just helped murder civilians. That's kind of a big hurdle for a redemption arc to overcome at any point in time.
Epic Winter
That's why I see as
Soldier moment.
complicated. I mean, yeah, but also I think the weird, I mean, even like The Mandalorian, a show which is not for like a younger audience, we still don't directly see Din doing a lot of like murder on people that are innocent. Like he's a bounty hunter or they're droids. Like these are just people that were there.
I would also add to that. The thing I think it's very reminiscent of like when I'm worried about what's going to happen to Crosshair, it's very reminiscent of like a Vader moment where it's like Vader's done so much bad stuff. Vader advocated for genocide and allowed an entire planet to get destroyed. Vader couldn't have had a redemption arc, so he had like a redeeming moment at the end when he took out Palpatine. I'm very worried that something like that is going to happen to Crosshair, because I think it's honestly after that, even though he is under mind control, and I would like to see a moment of clarity where he's like, oh my God, hey, I did some not so cool things. I do kind of feel like we're past a point of you're cool and you're going to be back on the team. Like, yeah.
I would also agree with that because what I was thinking about while watching the episode was like, there are some clones who are chipped, like Cody, my husband, who would feel remorse and regret, even if he was told like you had no agency in this, you were forced to do it. Like no matter what, he would still feel some level of guilt over that action. And I don't know a ton about Crosshair's moral compass, but something gives me the vibe that even if they were like, "Hey, you murdered civilians," he'd be like, "What about it? Like it's fine, it happened." Like I don't think that he would feel as much um problem. He wouldn't see a big issue with that because of who he is as a person.
I to speak on Crosshair's behalf, even though I'm not a Crosshair Kinney, I'm not a Crosshair simp in any way, shape, or form. I will say this: they did say they turned up the gas on his chip, unlike they did on everybody else's. So
Yeah, true.
any like remorse or anything that anybody else, like even other clones were like, oh, maybe we don't have to, like they kind of mirrored what some of the stormtroopers did, but they were like, well, we don't have to like kill civilians, and they were like, step on the gas with Crosshair. So I'm gonna give him that a little bit. And also what you were saying about the Vader moment or whatever, I'm like, don't compare him to Vader. He chose to be a fascist. Crosshair,
absolutely,
they
yes,
did control
correct.
that man.
Yes.
But and I like to call those final moments of atonement rather than moments of redemption, because I hate when people call them redemption moments, because you're like, it's not realistic, love.
Yeah, I agree.
But I will say we have never seen anything this dark. Well, not this dark, but like it's always implied when they just shoot on civilians or whatever. The one time it has felt this way is Rogue One. And they did say it was going to be like Rogue One. And we were all like, oh no, they're all going to die, Rogue One, which could still happen. But I think it's also like, this is a Rogue One of like, oh no, we're starting out with a war crime real early. It has the same vibe as Rogue One of that there are really beautiful moments in it, but it also feels, wow, this is really real, really fast. Anyways.
Well, a little bit of a downer. No, I completely like agree and see that. And I think also I might have talked about this before, but I have a big problem in Western media with this whole idea of redemption arcs. I think so often we feel like we have to uh not atone, but like we have to forgive these people for like, oh, like you did these terrible things, like, oh my god. But it's like, no, you don't. You wicked don't have to forgive a person. Like, can we see where they're coming from? Can we see that like Crosshair has like been, it's beyond his control? Yes, but that doesn't mean that we have to be like, yep, Crosshair's back with the team, everything's fine and dandy. Yeah.
And not to like direct away from Star Wars, but my favorite example of that problem that especially like Western people have watching media is Zuko and Azula. Because whenever people call for a redemption arc for Azula, I'm like, no, that's not possible. Like honestly, and that's the same with Vader. Like I like that Claudia's like he has a redeeming moment, but he is not a redeemed character. Like you can do something that is good and not be a good person. But yeah, it's weird because Western media, especially post-World War II Western media, I'm thinking like historical or whatever, has this tendency to take very overtly fascist characters and find a way to forgive them. And historically, part of the reason that happens, this is going so far off Star Wars, I'm so sorry, but like, I'm thinking about this now.
It's not though. It's like very relevant to Star Wars though.
Part of the reason this happens is because America after World War II could not find a way to reconcile its lack of action against the Nazis with the Nazis themselves. So they would create characters that would do atrocious things that could then be redeemed from that point, and by proxy redeem the public and redeem the government and redeem themselves. So I agree with Mel in this idea that not all characters are redeemable characters, and especially in media that is around this weird age group of like children and 20-year-olds. I see this weird overlap of people who really desperately want to redeem every bad character. And I'm like, guess what? Not every bad character is redeemable, and that should be okay to do.
You were saying, oh, it's straying away from Star Wars. I'm like, that is actually like, well, Star Wars is one of my favorite things in the world. That is actually one of my biggest problems with Star Wars. And that's why we're a Saw Gerrera household, because I'm like, no, there is no forgiveness. There's this thing in Star Wars of like, oh, that everyone deserves a second chance or whatever. Like, I love Luke Skywalker, whatever, but no, bestie, there isn't still good in him. He is a war criminal. Actually, no. And that's something I find very problematic. And that was something that I knew they would do in the sequel movies, and then they did it. And I was like, I hate it here. And that's something that, like, it is one of the things that I hate about Star Wars the most. Wow, I'm gonna be one of those toxic people, but that's one of those things. And so that's why the other media, see, that's why Full Metal Alchemist is the superior piece of media. In this essay I will. Anyways,
That's actually why I liked Leia's character a lot in Bloodlines in the extended universe of her, because she very much is like, no, I don't care that we're related. He's still a bad person. Like, he's still a murderer. He still does things that I don't like.
I was going to add as well, I think that there is a certain merit. This is something that I've always had a problem with in media, is that bad characters are either this twisted moral character who has internal struggle or is a monolith for evil. So I think there's something very useful to having, say, like, this character still has good within them, but they are irredeemable, which is why I think something like Vader makes more sense. It's obviously not perfect, but there is a point in saying Vader had done irredeemable things and did not deserve a full redemption arc. But it is important to show that those who participate in fascist regimes and those who participate in evil acts are human. Because if we dehumanize them to a certain amount, it makes people forget that those are regular people and stuff like that can happen. And that
louder for people in the back. Say it again.
This is something that's always bothered me. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think also that the one, I don't want to say, I feel conflicted about it because I haven't quite explored that in my head yet. That's why I think I'm more comfortable with the idea of it being Luke who redeems Vader, that it is a familial and interpersonal moment. It is not the entire universe is forgiving Darth Vader, because, well, see, that's the problem, because they kind of say that though in the larger like meta text of like, suddenly Anakin's a Force ghost even though he never learned how to fucking do that. Where's Anakin's Force ghost training? Actually, I don't give a fuck about Rey Skywalker's training. Where the fuck was Anakin's Force ghost training?
Fucking Mary Sue.
Mary Sue.
He's the biggest Mary Sue.
Honestly, Anakin is truly the only Mary Sue. He's more of a Mary Sue than anybody. Fucking like 5-year-old pod racer. Okay.
But see, he isn't a Mary Sue because he becomes a fascist.
And he's a man.
You ever notice that male characters never get called Mary Sues? Isn't that lovely and frustrating?
I think they should. Let's start calling
they should too.
I think Obi-Wan Kenobi's a Mary Sue.
Darth Revan is a Mary Sue. I said what I said.
Is Evan Callus's child?
Hey, don't talk about the Kalluzub child like that.
You're right. I'm so sorry. Darth Sidious, on the other hand, that's a Mary Sue. Where was his training? We never see it. But yeah, no, Mel made this point that I like too, about the idea that like the whole universe should not be the one that forgives Vader or any character for that matter. And I also think in the real world, there's this very weird push for when someone harms a community that the whole community has apologized. And I'm like, first of all, not a monolith. Like no community is universally the same. But also I hate people like, I want to apologize like this community. And I'm like, how do you apologize to all of them? And why do you think that every single person owes you that? Because like personally, I don't think like, not to use like Cara Dune in a good point, but I have to. It's the first character I can think of. But like friends of Cara Dune who are a part of the rebellion and die, they don't owe Vader or like they don't owe him forgiveness. They don't owe anyone on the Death Star forgiveness. The people of Alderaan don't owe him forgiveness. But there's this weird push, especially like Claudia was saying in Star Wars of all places, that every character that does a bad thing is somehow owed that. And they're like, no, they're not. Actually, no, they're not.
That's actually one of the reasons I don't like Bloodline and I don't like a lot of the stuff in the New Republic era, because they're like, oh, these people, they defected from the Empire or whatever. Like they have the whole piece about how Leia's like, actually, I think Vader's stupid and people shouldn't have to forgive him. And then she's like, and now I'm going to become friends with a young Republican. And you're like, bestie, what? Bestie,
Wait, pause. What the fuck?
That is
Oh my
literally
God.
the plot of Bloodline. I'm not fucking with you.
Oh my
I
god,
read that book.
Leia / Ben Shapiro.
It's literally he's literally Ben Shapiro. No, okay, let me describe
Darth
the
Oh,
scene
you
Ben.
weren't
in the
even
book.
at the cursed section of the fucking
Okay, let me
podcast. You just
describe
said
the scene in this
Leia
book.
X Ben Shapiro.
She
I'm
walks
so
in-
sorry, besties.
She walks into her fellow young senators. She's older, but he's a young senator's. He's giving me Lux Bonteri vibes, to be honest.
Not Lux.
Don't come for my based king Lux like
You
that.
know what? I actually, this is slander to Lux Bonteri. She walks into his office like to meet him or something, even though he's on an opposing side or whatever. And she's like, all right, I'm gonna talk to him. I'm Leia. You know, I talk to everybody. You know, I'm Bail Organa's daughter, whatever. I think that's what happens. She walks in and then she has like a full panic attack because his entire office is full of Imperial propaganda. He's a literal neo-Nazi.
So he's like one of those people. He's one of those
Yes!
people who has like the freaking Trump 2020 flags, Republican.
I have
The fact, like having a
into
MAGA
what
hat and it's
Repu-
2021.
Yeah.
I have walked into a Republican's congressional office like that. And then the rest of the book is basically her having to team up with this guy to figure out that the First Order is being built, because he's like, I don't he's like a Republican. He's like, oh my God, he's like the Lincoln Project. Like,
Wow, very bad people on both sides of you, Star Wars. Thank you so much. I love your modern
upsetting.
representation. Thank you so much.
I hate it so much. Anyway, but there's a lot of stuff in the New Republic that I hate because of that. It's a wider problem with Star Wars, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a very not pog moment for Star Wars. Even though that book has a lot of like really cute Han and Leia stuff and like et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, and there's that's also why I couldn't get through like the Alphabet Squadron stuff too, because they were like, yeah, there's people who like defected, but they waited until Operation Cinder to defect, and I'm like, oh, really? You waited all the way till then, and now and
Like,
and they try
I
to
draw
make
the line at
rebellion-
kidnapping babies. Like,
yeah,
maybe you should have drawn the line a little earlier, bestie.
That arc is that scene from Community where they're talking and she's like, I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal cruelty.
literally, it's
Excuse
literally
racism?
that. It's literally that. Like, it's literally all of these Imperials, and then them basically being like, well, the rebellion's bad now because they're holding Imperials in camps, and you're like, bestie, it's mess, and I hate it. Anyways, I don't know how we got into this part of the discussion, but
I mean, this is like very on brand for Star Wars, and it's important that someone says it. But speaking of, now that we've had our epic fascism discussion, do we want to talk about Tech Bazinga moment?
Yes.
Because Jess, I know both of us have very similar Tech Bazinga moment feelings. Because Claudia has been slandering all of the tech haters, and I'm not a tech hater. I'm simply not a tech enjoyer.
I'm a tech truthist. I know the reality of the character.
I Tech, I swear, when Tech was like, when Hunter was like, Tech, I thought you said the diagnostic said that everything was fine and we just got dropped out of warp speed. And Tech was like, well, warp speed's not necessary to, preserving our lives. I was like, huh? Pardon? Jess,
Yeah,
you have
very
things to say
similar.
about this. Please go on.
When he said that, I was just like, maybe it might not be important to all of your life support, but life is about to not support you anymore because I'm gonna end you.
Life is about to not support
Listen,
you.
Just self-insert kills tech AU.
That's our fan fiction for the week.
Fed my boy for a second because here's the thing: people are like, "Oh, tech just says shit like that." True, that is true. However, in this episode, we did get a little. And last episode, we get a little Tech and Echo bonding, and you do realize that they share a brain cell. Like Tech is that kind of character that what I like to call a Schrodinger's himbo, which is they are. Hold on. I don't know if you guys have ever heard what a Schrodinger's himbo is. A Schrodinger's himbo is they are a smart character or a capable character on paper, but their brain cell does turn off for interpersonal relations.
I feel like you can
Now,
feel
hang on
all
one
of us
second, please.
like chomping at the bit
No,
to be like,
hang
you just
on
called
one
Tech a
second,
himbo.
please. So
No,
let me.
I didn't. Hold on. I wasn't done. So I said he's in that class of character. He's not a himbo. He's not, but he's in that class of character of like he's very smart. Also, same with Echo, very smart, but they do share like one brain cell, and that I love that dynamic between them.
Echo slander?
As the only homosexual man in the chat tonight, here's my thing. One, Schrodinger's cat is still a fucking cat. So if you're gonna call it Schrodinger's himbo, it's still gotta be a himbo. You can say Schrodinger's brain cell.
I didn't say he was a himbo. I said it was
However,
in that same vein of reasoning, okay?
As someone who was recently attacked on TikTok by people calling Tech a DILF, I would just like to say patently and correctly, Tech is firmly a twink that says no fats, no femmes, no Asians.
How dare you? He would never. He would never.
I have seen him on Grindr before.
Wait.
I know it's there.
Wait.
I know it in my soul.
Let me say this. Whitewash Tech, yes. The Tech we all know, love in our hearts, who is not whitewashed, no.
Where is he?
Well, we don't
Would
know
like to
where
see
he is.
him.
Man.
We don't know where he is.
Brown
But
Tech would
Whitewash
never do this to me.
yeah.
Melanin Tech would never do this to me, not my Melanin King.
This is not my melanated wife.
Here's my Tech defense is that there are some dads and who are just like, listen, if my partner does everything else in the house, I fix the Wi-Fi. I know how all electronics work. Whatever.
So he's like a distant male wife. So you're positing
emotionally distant. Doesn't have to
Ranking
be
distant
emotionally
male wife.
I'm just saying, yes, I'm pushing the tech male wife agenda where he's like, I'm just here to look cute and fix the Wi-Fi. I know what
Look
an
cute.
HDMI cord is.
Look cute.
Okay,
Speaking
leave
of,
me alone.
guys,
Okay,
we
now
can't
whitewash
have this tech discourse.
I
Speaking
just wanna
of
say one
tech,
thing.
fixing the
I just-
Wi-Fi.
Can I say one thing really
Well,
fast?
this was the
So
other tech moment.
Claudia, when you, for whatever reason, when you said, you're like, I just here to fix the Wi-Fi, all I could hear was like Italian tech being like, I fix it in Wi-Fi, I make it a meatball. All I could hear.
This is
I'm so
devolving so
sorry.
fast.
Can I just bring up speaking of tech fixing the Wi-Fi, that moment when he is trying to fix the ship, and then Echo's like, "Did you hear that?" And Tech's just kind of like, "Not now."
Stop. I hated that so much. I was like,
I
don't.
was like,
They're honestly the
Tech.
two whitest members of the Bad Batch. And
They
like
are.
they need to stick
And it
together.
shows.
I
Italian
can't with
tech.
y'all. I can't.
I'm
with
sorry that
We
I
can't-
brought Italian tech into the world, but literally I was like, I have to say this. I
What
have
the
to
He
really
fucking
looks
say
like
aioli.
Waluigi.
Guys, we can't with this. We can't keep doing this.
Mamma mia, not again.
y'all. Okay,
this.
not
Holy
to
shit.
not to move us along. But we were speaking of cognitive dissonance. Wrecker got some head trauma in this episode that I am very concerned about.
Fear.
Same.
New fear unlocked that maybe he's gonna have a tough type situation go down, and I do think that's how we are gonna go back to Camino. Is
Epic chip moment.
Do we know, I actually don't know the answer to this, but does anyone know how many episodes are in the Bad Batch? Because I don't.
16.
Have
There
they
are
told us
16.
that?
Yeah,
Okay.
16.
So here's my thing about that narratively, because going back to Camino for me is like a end of the road kind of thing. So I would hope that they wouldn't, if they're gonna do, they wouldn't do it for a while. But yeah, Mel, I was also very concerned because they made so many like super super obvious shots of him being like, "Ow, the part of my head where the chip is," to the point where I want to be like, "Is this a red herring? Like, are you doing this to be distracting?" Because it sort of seemed like that. But I'm also like, Dave would do that to us. He totally would.
I agree. I feel like I was also very in like this must be like this is so obvious. It must be red herring. But then I thought about it more and I was like, Dave is the king of doing things that are obvious and you can see it coming. And that's why it's so effective, is because the whole time you're like, I know this is gonna happen. One of the reasons Clone Wars was so effective because it's like, I know Anakin's gonna be Vader. The whole time you're like, I know it's coming.
Yeah.
And which is how I'm feeling about vis-a-vis Wrecker's chip.
Yeah. Well, you and I, we kind of had the same, slightly diverging, but kind of the same thought of like, okay, his chip is activated. My thought was like, so you're telling me that each of their, like, they said like, oh, we got to get them back here. And my first thought was like, oh, they're gonna take out a bounty on them, and Fennec is gonna be the one who has to hunt them down. But then she's gonna team up with them, and then is gonna replace Crosshair or whatever. But then I was like, wait, what if they start coming in one by one because their chips keep getting activated, and then Omega's the last one left, and it's very sad because they really hammered in the like really sweet moments, and this episode had the really sweet like Wrecker and Omega moment, and I was like, David.
I will also say this though, because we joke a lot about the Bad Batch getting Rogue One, which I think is still a very feasible theory. The problem that I have with this idea that they're all going to be dead or gone is that you have a child character who, by the end of the series, cannot possibly be on their own. They're not old enough to manage it themselves. So I'm sort of like, I saw a theory on TikTok. I'm sorry to remember who like posted it. It may have been one of us, maybe somebody else. This idea that not Wrecker, that Hunter is gonna be the last one left with Omega, and I kind of think we're headed there.
I will always jump in and say I am firm in the belief that this is my working theory. This from the second we saw Omega. Okay, I was like, first of all, the batch is gonna get Rogue One. That because they're not. Why the fuck would they not be in Rebels if or they could have died somewhere in between, but just in my mind's eye. So my mind goes to Fennec. I think Fennec and Omega have some type of relationship in terms of like taking care
Girl
of
boss moment.
Girl boss moment, Saw Gerrera type moment where it's like a Saw Jin type parallel, and then we're going to see Omega in Book of Boba Fett.
I'm obsessed with your mind.
I actually love that direction.
Mind.
I had not thought about that at all, and I love that.
I was thinking that it was gonna be like Echo alive at the end, because I thought like Echo, like, oh, they fall down like dominoes and Echo has a last remaining member of the squad moment, but Fennec is so much better.
I do think that would also offer, at least in my brain, like a logical way for them to have these characters coexist at the same time. Because the complicated thing about writing shows that are set after your other shows is like, we do have to answer the question, where are they during Rebels? Like that, and it's the same with Cody. We talked about this last week of like, we just don't know where he is, but signs point to not here. Because if he was, we probably would have seen him in that. But then we also have to consider they may just say fuck it and do a little retcon moment, because these characters did not even come close to existence when Rebels was being written and was
They
coming
did
out.
that with White Caleb Doom.
Stop.
God,
No.
yes,
I mean, no,
Whose
I mean,
white
they
baby
really
is that?
did. They really did like retcon like the Kanan comics. They didn't
Yeah.
retcon them entirely, but they changed enough that it kind of, for those who are Kanan comic truthers, to be like, now pause.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Jess, go
Carl
on.
Cassis is the same way. Like, he's smack in the middle of an era where we should be seeing him everywhere in Star Wars Imperial properties, and he's nowhere to be found. And neither any of those characters, I don't think that in the next Fallen Order game they're gonna be like, and they all died. So sorry about it. But
Oh, she passed
that's
away.
oh. But that's the complicated thing here, is I'm not totally sure if they're going to do the retcon or if they're going to do the Mel approved route, which I actually do like, of having Fennec and Omega go off together. But then we have to answer a much more emotionally worse question: how do they split up? Like, at what point do they stop being together?
Very
Own
Rex
up,
and Ahsoka
Omega.
moment. Because
Yes.
I just want to say that I do think it's very like, possible, viable that Omega is going to be the last one. And Noah, you saying like frick, what did you even say? My brain went blank. About how could like a child end up surviving by themselves? Boba was kind of doing that.
Also, Jin at some point, I guess. I kind of forgot about that. But yeah,
So
Jin
it's
at some point as
possible that
well.
Omega could just be by her lonesome self as a
Sad
child.
theory is that Omega is able to mimic all of the skills of the Bad Batch and then uses those to survive solo for a number of years.
Oh no.
You gave me
Please.
goosebumps when you said that. I genuinely.
I'm sorry.
Are you Dave?
She was having those moments again too where she was mimicking Hunter in this episode.
Yeah,
Can you
let's talk
guys-
about that.
Can you guys stop? Because you're gonna say it and you're gonna manifest it. I need you to shut the fuck up. I need
My
you to
one
shut
thing
up.
about
Get into
manifestation that I love
existence.
knowing is that these episodes are already written and animated. We're just watching them come out. So no matter what I say, it's already set in stone no
If
matter
we
what
have-
happens.
If we have this much power, can we start manifesting some canon gay characters?
Yes.
What do you want?
Oh my god.
Zeb.
Yeah, let's all start
Zeb.
really hard thinking about like, man,
Eli
it sure would
Vanto.
be cool if Eli Vanto, correct. It sure would be cool if the Obi-Wan Kenobi series was just about him going to Pride on Tatooine.
Yeah.
Also, Claudia,
Ian-
you said Kalazeb as though Dave Filoni did not on Twitter this week confirm that they are canonically
true.
married and have 2 kids. So
Yeah,
Yes,
of course.
check your
tweet-
knowledge.
Yeah.
Let's. My favorite characters, Mara, Jade, and Revan, they're 2 children. So happy to hear about that.
Guys, Mel and I are gonna be Mara Jade and Revan Callus Aurelios for Halloween.
I
So
love
I
that
think
for you.
everyone has to choose
Exciting.
who they're gonna be in that family for Halloween. That's gonna be our podcast costume.
Yeah, I'm
Someone can
he.
be.
I hate it here. I hate it here. Oh my
Ew.
god.
Go 20 minutes without bringing up he challenge.
I'm gonna be
Callus
Chopper.
Aurelius.
He's not involved, but I want him there.
Sorry, I'm sorry. No, it's Eli Vanto, you know? Because didn't you all hear about how Eli was confirmed he in Thrawn treason?
Check out our TikTok for more epic he moments. This is another thing. Yeah, I think I will say, unless anyone else has anything to say to conclude my thoughts on this week's Bad Batch episode, very excited for Onderon, extremely excited to see more Saw Gerrera, terrified of how fans are going to treat him. My horrible dream team, we were talking about sort of changing the Kanan comics storyline, and I feel like I thought of another character who they may do that with and make sort of speed up their storyline a little bit. If we see Callus on Onderon and we see the Lasat kill Callus's team, and I know I said this last week and I will say it again, but if
Best you know.
if I see any of you coming for Saw and being like, oh, he gave my sweet Callus, like he made him hate the Lasat and then made him commit genocide on Lasan, I will be hitting the block button immediately. Mel, please go. I saw you have something
Yeah.
to say.
My immediate thought this entire time, as soon as oh my god, I almost called him Crossfire. I do have to walk into the ocean and die.
Crosshair
Brain
Callus
worms,
is
brain
the team
worms.
up that I am terrified
Okay,
of.
the second he fucking killed that motherfucker in the Death Trooper squad, I was like, there is suddenly a new open position, and there is a bitch who has some trauma.
You are so
to be
right,
made.
bestie. That is absolutely what
No.
I was thinking. Same brain.
No.
So,
Wait,
that's what I'm saying.
no. Callus, but Callus is an ISB agent.
Well, see,
Well,
that's what
actually, so here's what I'm saying.
Epic
Callus-
tech moment.
Shapiro boy.
Yeah, I'm having a
calm
tech.
down,
I'm having
Tech.
a tech moment. Technically,
You did not compare Tech to Ben Shapiro. No, get out.
Tech
Get out.
Shapiro.
That's homophobic.
Tech goes
Not
Tech goes
Tech
to
Shapiro.
Space Home Depot and buys a 2x4 and puts it in a plastic bag. I'm
Was
so
that not
sorry.
the
Anyway, we need a new
yes.
host for the podcast.
I
No,
I was
Ollie
gonna
is so
say
valid for that. No,
Thank you so much.
You're so valid for Tech
division in the
Shapiro.
pod.
this is thank you
Fine.
so
What
much.
is Callus? The agent?
Oh, okay. So technically, so what I was saying, I was reading the Wikipedia because I'm obsessed with this idea and I'm terrified. What I was thinking is, as I said in the Kanan comics, like it's a little bit different how Order 66 went down. So what I'm thinking is they could have it be because Callus was in one of the first classes that graduated from the Imperial Academy on Coruscant. And it's kind of implied that then he joins the ISB, like he trains under Yularen in the Imperial Academy and then goes to ISB when he graduates. So what I'm thinking is
Well, that's what they all do.
correct, but what I'm thinking is what they could do is have it be like, oh, he's fresh from like our thing and this is his first mission. Maybe he just became an officer and then he comes back and gets promoted to ISB. because there aren't like super strict callous lore moments. Like there are, but I could see them fudging it enough that it could make sense.
Yeah, or
And
this-
clearly they're already planning to do that. They did it with Kanan. So
Exactly.
clearly they've said that it's okay to do.
They said Rebels close enough.
Oh, speaking of Rebels, I had an idea. You know where we have not been in a while? We have not, we went back to Onderon, we have not been back to Ryloth, which is another quite war-torn planet. And
Young Hera Syndulla?
young Hera Syndulla, because we see Cham Syndulla in the Clone Wars and like and in Rebels, and like the progression from local rebels to those rebels is the same as seeing Saw's progression as well. It would make a lot of sense for them to go to Ryloth as well, because Ryloth is another one that is Imperial occupied. Anyways, young Hera Syndulla rights, baby.
If we saw young Hera, that means we'd also see Chopper, because she found Chopper during the Clone Wars, technically.
Baby Chopper. Baby war criminal.
He wouldn't even be a baby, he'd just be
Baby
Chopper.
Baby
full-size Chopper.
Guys, Baby Yoda's broke. Baby Chopper is woke. Yeah. Anyway,
Baby Shark, I don't know her. What I was gonna say is, speaking of this whole where do we go next? Julia is a friend of all of ours, I believe, but I do watch the episodes with her. She's lovely on TikTok, Julia Christine 77. She also is like, has an absurd knowledge of Mandalore, like the Mandalorian historian. And there's a little beastie that we encounter on this episode. And what is it called? It's an Ordo lizard. Where is Ordo? Oh, it's right next to Mandalore.
Shit.
So
I didn't even know
that's
that. I
interesting.
love.
That's very
Keep in
interesting.
mind.
Shout out
That's
to
where-
Julia, our Mandalorian knowledge queen.
Oh my
Like,
god,
her
Quirky
mind.
Kenobi when?
It's Dave. It's Dave. We know we're going to Mandalore. It's not a Dave production if we're not going to Mandalore. Like, come on. We're going.
Or at least talking about it. Like,
Yeah.
At least showing
Corky
off
lore,
at
when?
one.
literally.
Corky, Kreese, Kenobi, when?
Actually, the next Death Trooper is Corky Kenobi. It's not even Callus.
Wait, don't fucking say
God.
that. What if they did that?
Not Callus X Corky.
I am
You know what's great?
Honestly-
Their ship name is just Corky. Technically speaking, you can do that. Or Callus. They both have K's.
Corliss.
I hate it here. I hate it here.
Corlissy.
Okay, I'm
I'm
so
bleeding.
Okay,
sorry.
silence. I do want to see Corky, but realistically, if there's any Mandalorian that Dave is gonna throw in somehow, I feel like it's Bo-Katan, because she's
What about
everywhere.
Din? What about Baby
Baby
What
Din!
about Din?
Oh my
In
god,
his
I wanna
convert
see
right
Baby
now,
Din.
he's not.
There
Yeah, he's
is-
at homeschool. Mandalorian homeschool, sorry.
Concordia?
There is another. Fen Rao could.
Oh my god,
Yes,
yeah!
True,
there's one.
Yes. Oh my god,
Oh my god,
king.
Fenrir for Mandalore.
He trained clones on Camino.
Correct.
Oh yeah! It!
Okay, also, this would work because Tarkin, my
minds.
gay icon, was talking about bringing in people to train new elite squads. So theoretically,
Oh, no!
that would actually be a really good intro for that character. It would make a lot of sense.
This could also make sense as to Fen Rao, like why he was still not totally against the Empire and Rebels. Like he was not a fan of the Empire,
My
but
bitchy
he
king.
also was like, it's fine. Like they're not the worst thing for Mandalore right now.
Waka waka.
Okay,
I'd
that
love
just
to
made
see
me feel
Fen Rao,
insane.
though.
Fen
Like
Rao,
Fen
my
Rao in
Ginger
Clone
King.
Wars style.
Did we just predict the whole fucking show? Like last week we predicted the evil batch, and this week we're gonna predict Fen Rao. Like they're gonna go to Mandalore and we're gonna be like, psych! Like
I'm just saying, canon gave Fen Rao, let's go. That's what I'm asking for. Dave
agree.
Filoni. I'm just saying we're manifesting Fen Rao next episode, and he
who are we
is.
shipping him with?
I can't with that
Hunter.
right now.
Hunter X Fen Rao is very good,
No.
actually.
Hunter.
I would like to propose that the Bad Batch that's now in Camino just names themselves like the Batter Batch. Like because
The worst batch.
Yeah, well, because
baddies.
I really the baddies.
The baddie batch.
What I want to see though, you know, in like superhero stuff where like there's a supervillain and then like there's a copycat of the supervillain that's like, I'm the badder version of this. I want that. I don't like that's the bad batch. We're the worst batch. Like I don't want them to get like really into I want them to
Well, but
have
they
t-shirts.
kind of did that. They're going to be not like because there's Clone Force 99 and then there's what are they called? Elite Force 99, the one that I talked about from Wikipedia. Like they're literally going to be like, oh well, we're also 99. So
What I was gonna say is also we hear Crosshair's like clone ID number, and the beginning of his number is 99. So there's also that. Let's talk about curse shit this week.
Truly,
Love.
let's.
wait, Cody Watch 2021. Jess.
Oh,
He's not there.
Now we will be going to curse shit of the week. Do we want to talk about the epic TikTok moment that happened this week? Which is that
Yes.
our Lord and Savior Mark Hamill joined TikTok, and I think he is on like gay Star Wars cosplay TikTok, which
I
is
think he
very
is.
fun.
as
Noah,
far as I
you
can
have a
tell,
fun you have a fun story.
Yeah, so basically when Mark got on TikTok, I was like, "Oh my God, like Mark Hamill is here." So obviously me and the rest of fucking Star Wars TikTok was like, "I got to comment on this man's post immediately." And then he liked my comment. That was my first stage of like mentally dissolving. And I was like, "Okay, I do want to tell this man," and a lot of people in the comments, including everyone here, agreed with me. Like he's done so much for his queer fans by like sticking up for us and talking about our deservedness to be in Star Wars. Like genuinely, that man does seem to care about his queer fan base. So I made a video that was like, "Hey, yeah, you mean a lot to all of us, like me specifically. Like I love you so much. I think you're great." And he commented on that video. At which point I like left the physical plane. I think he literally just like, "I love people for who they are, not who they love," with a little heart. And then he put like MH, so I don't know who commented it. I didn't like frame it and get a tattoo of it immediately. Um, but here's the thing that I realized in the midst of my freak out, like, "Oh my God, Mark Hamill commented on a video that I made." My page contains a lot of things that are not great. Like I've called Luke Skywalker a twink derogatory multiple times. And I realized the rest of Star Wars TikTok that he may be involved with is a garbage fire. And that man's gonna see that garbage fire and interact with that garbage fire. And I'm excited for that.
We've all for the past week been going, company is coming. We can't let people know we sit.
We can't let Mark know about Tarkintok.
So
Or
people have been
Thrall Talk. Thank you,
tagging him in
Jess.
my Tarkintok videos. I'm like, sir, you can't know that we were joking about how Luke is Tarkin's type. Like you can't tag Mark Hamill in that. Like please.
I made a Tarkin piss kink joke video. The idea that Mark Hamill would see that, I would just delete my account, actually.
Yeah, I'm really afraid of being perceived by Mark Hamill. I know everyone else like is actively trying to get his attention by tagging him and stuff, and I'm just over here like, no one better come into my comments and tag that man ever. I don't want him to know I exist.
On a serious note though, like as a social manager, I know that either like somebody in his family or somebody else is running his social and it's probably like, oh, this is a good one to reply to. And then like will hand him the phone and like he'll reply or he'll do his video or whatever. So that means that somebody else is seeing all your crazy shit on his For You page. Or all the things that you people tag him in.
I want to know so intensely what Mark Hamill's For You page looks like. Suddenly, that is my
I do
only
too.
thing I care about.
Like, I mean, right now it's probably bad because he's like just joined the app, but like, I truly like, well, and that's why he signs things as MH, which means that that's actually him commenting, and not like that's actually him. You know what I mean? Like a lot of celebrities' accounts do that, even because they're usually run by somebody else. And that's why I'm like, oh, he's choosing who to respond to, which means that he may be spared from seeing the worst. Like you guys might be okay, but that does mean someone close to him does have to see all of the Kylo Ren thirst edits. Like he's on cosplay TikTok now. He duetted a cosplayer, and I was like, oh no, is he gonna see the person who does like thirsty Darth Maul cosplay? Oh no.
All I
Oh,
want is for him to
no.
find that Jar Jar Binks thirst trap cosplayer. That's all I want for Mark Hamill right now. Anyway, Mel, what were you gonna say? I'm so sorry.
See, call me Mithron Yoroto. I preemptive strike blocked Mark. So
Stop.
I can't.
Oh,
We can't do this. We can't do this, Marcus Aurelius.
Mel.
I love you, bestie, but I I can't do it right now.
You
I
did it
can't.
because you love him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It was an act of love.
that was a sacrifice that you made for his sake, and we should really
You're-
appreciate you for that.
Call it
That's so smart.
Thrawn sending Eli away.
Can't with
You-
you right now.
Mel has sent Mark Hamill to the Chiss Ascendancy.
Mark Hamill, welcome to the Chiss
let's-
Ascendancy.
Mark Hamill meets Aralani, and she's like, "We need to get you out of here."
I think it's time for name that ship.
I was just gonna say name that ship. I think this is everyone's favorite segment, which is name that ship. And the premise of this, if you didn't listen last week, is that our hosts have gathered some fun fan fiction, and we are going to read the tags, and our other hosts are going to try to guess what it is. And we will also go ahead and pause it. Please do not find these ships. Please do not find these tags. Please do not find these fan fictions and comment or harass the author. This is all in good fun. And if you do, I will be disappointed in you.
I will personally come and curb stomp.
Claudia,
you.
I know
Same,
we
Mel.
will
I'm
personally
on my
come and
way.
find you. Claudia, I know you had one. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I actually had two, that one of them I'm gonna save for next week, and I'm trying to decide which one I'm gonna do, and it's all right, I'll do the first one. Okay, the rating is general audiences. That's a surprise.
You sound surprised by that, so now I'm afraid because that sounded like it shocks you.
Kind of. I didn't just remember that. So I'm supposed to give you the rating, the title with
Correct.
The title is called "Till Death Do Us Part."
This is already bad.
I'm not gonna be able to get through this. Okay, here are the tags. I'm going to try and avoid character names. Character slash in all caps. Character slash character is not romantic. All
Love that.
caps.
So is this a gen ship? There's no actual romantic ship in this.
Hold on. Character slash character is not romantic. All caps. All caps. They get sham. They get
what?
They get sham married and divorced, and character 1 hates character 2.
Oh, so this
What?
this is a Star Wars Vegas wedding moment.
Oh.
Fix it.
This is a Corellia wedding moment.
Fix
Stop
it.
it.
Sequels fic. Fix it. Kid fic. Accidental baby acquisition.
Hang on, no, hold on.
Was this written by Dave
Wait,
Filoni?
it's come on, I'm not done. Ray is the baby.
Wait.
I hate it.
Based on a Tumblr post. Insert character here and the prenup from hell. A character 2 clones freeform. All my homies hate character 2. In the future, there will be character 1 / Luke, or I'll share what that ship is called later.
I know exactly
Where
what
is
this
Luke
is.
in this?
I think I know exactly what this is.
Found family.
Okay.
It's
the hell?
There is one of uncompleted number of chapters. The last time it was updated was August 2020. So that's the headspace they were writing this in.
Can I?
How many
okay.
words is it?
How many words? 2,911 words.
There's a lot to happen in that word
Let me
space.
see if there's any other characters. Fandoms, Star
Okay.
Wars,
Can I?
Clone
Let's.
Wars, sequel trilogy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I have. Okay. So this takes place. I'm gonna assume. Are these characters from like the Clone Wars prequels era, like the main characters?
Some of them, yes.
Okay. Bad already to start.
Is the main pairing what era of Star Wars is the main pairing from? Or worse, are they from 2 different eras?
They're not from 2 different eras. I guess you would classify them as from the prequel era, but
And Ray
they
is the
survived a
child
little
raised
longer than that.
Well, hold on. Rey
Okay,
is, the
is this
child
Obi-Wan and Yoda?
acquisition.
No.
Obi-Wan and Yoda was your
Why would
first
you-
thought?
No. Okay.
Wait.
My
That would
thought-
make
no,
it
no,
later
no,
be
no.
Yoda / Luke, you monster.
Too many questions question's
I
it.
actually
Question's
forgot about
it.
that, but I'm saying those are the only two that are in like more than one era. So that was my first thought. I'm so sorry to everyone. Claudia,
Come
you are
on.
muted.
Wait,
Come
Are
on.
these is the ship gay? I need to know that. Or is
Yes,
it...
yes, it
okay,
is gay.
okay.
Thank God.
Okay.
Is it 2 men or 2 women?
2 men.
Bad already.
Oh
Okay,
my-
cool.
Oh god.
Is
Um,
Palpatine involved?
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh,
Is it Palpatine Tarkin?
No.
Palpatarkin
Okay.
is very powerful.
Is it
Oh.
so Palpatine's one half of the main ship, is the other side of it, are they part of the Empire or would they be against the Empire?
Is it Palpatine Anakin?
No.
Oh, thank God.
I guess, well, being a part of the
Wait.
Empire would be they're not a rebel. I'll say that.
Is it Boba Fett?
No. No,
Oh,
not
thank
a
God.
rebel,
Palpatine
not a
slash
rebel,
Thrawn.
not a bounty hunter.
Stop. Don't say it's not
Don't
Thrawn.
say Thrawn.
It's not Thrawn.
Thank God.
Okay,
This is
is
gonna be
really
a deep
hard.
cut, guys.
Is this a
Child
deep cut?
acquisition and
Is
Vegas
this someone
weddings?
that we don't know?
No,
Is this
no,
someone that
you know.
can? Okay.
Is it
Are
Lex
they
Von
human?
Terry?
No, it's not Electron Terry.
It's not Ahsoka. It's not. Okay. It's men.
No,
It's
no,
men.
no.
It's men.
It's a
Um,
non-force user.
Krennic?
No.
Are they from a
Not
movie?
not a high-ranking Imperial official either.
Callus.
Are they? Is it Bail Organa?
No, not a politician.
Okay.
Oh my God, we're running out of male
Uncle
characters
Owen?
here.
Not Uncle
Is
Owen.
the wait, remember they mentioned clones later on. There's
Jango Fett.
clones. Claudia,
You
no.
got it, Warmer. No, it's not Django. It's not Django, but it is a
Is
clone.
it Rex and Palpatine?
No.
Is it
Is
Cody?
it Cody?
No.
Is it
Fives?
5?
No.
Is it
Is
Wolf?
Okay,
Is it
is
Crosshair?
it 501st or 212th?
No, neither.
Is it Wolf?
Fox?
No.
Is it one of the Bad Batch?
Is
No.
it Alpha?
No.
Fox.
What?
Fox?
Fox! No!
Fox and Palpatine child acquisition? Oh my
Okay,
God.
okay. So
That-
here's,
no,
here's
no.
what the tags say. Here's what the tags say now. The Fox / Sheev is not romantic. They get sham married and divorced, and Fox hates Palpatine.
Yes, he should.
Rey is the baby. Commander Fox and the prenup from hell. In the future, there will be Fox Luke, or Fluke, as I like to call it.
Pause.
family.
Pause. Fox is the same age as Rex, and you're going to tell me that old ass Fox is going to be in a relationship with
80-year-old
Wait,
man?
Luke Skywalker?
Here's the summary. Based on this Tumblr post, okay, so to give you a little bit of backstory, the reason that the person sent this to me on TikTok was because they were like, oh, have you not heard about the whole, because I was talking about how cursed Tarkintok is, and they were like, oh, have you not heard about the whole Fox Palpatine thing going on
Okay.
Tumblr? And I was like, the what?
I
And
actually,
they were like,
I don't want to add this, but I actually did know about that because no,
Okay.
listen. I'm a Fox apologist, and
Same.
I could get into that because I think like he was
Okay.
set for failure, and
Absolutely.
I do spend a lot of time in the Commander Fox tag on Tumblr because
Foxio, baby.
I'm obsessed with him. I remember seeing this and being like, what tags do I have to blacklist so I do not ever see this again?
Yeah.
Anyway,
So-
Fox
so-
King, I'm so sorry.
Based on this person's Tumblr post where Fox and Palpatine end up in a fake relationship and sham marriage because both thinks the other is sincere and that they are manipulating the other, but Fox had one hell of a prenup and ends up cleaning house when he divorces Sheev and saves the galaxy.
Okay, actually, period though.
Hold on. This is not that story. This is a failed version of that story I thought
Oh.
of because my 2 brain cells were like, Rey Palpatine? That makes Fox her step-grandpa. And I wanted them to meet. It also is turning into a sequels fix-it. Disclaimer, I kind of take sequels canon about the Sheev clones and I mash it with my fist until juice comes out and make lemonade and do whatever I want because they don't explain enough. Fox wakes up from cryostasis to a galaxy recovering from the fall of the Empire as the universe...
No, pause.
wait. As the universe's bitterest ex-husband because he didn't get to kill Palpatine himself. He's not going to let some discount clone of Sheev ruin things again either, and ends up with a surprise step-granddaughter along
Okay,
the
pause.
way.
I know he did not just call Rey a discount clone of Sheev.
No. He's saying the clone of Sheev that is the Palpatine who rose again.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
New Palpatine. Palpatine 2.0.
Oh, okay.
Fox King, I am so sorry that
Somehow
someone would do
Palpatine
this
has
to you.
returned.
I
Why am I
lost whatever
crying?
brain cells I had left from hearing all of those words at once.
Oh,
First of
wait,
all,
wait.
Commander Fox and the Pre-nup from Hell took 5 years off my life.
Actually,
Wait,
I think
wait, wait.
that's my new gender for next week is Commander Fox and the Pre-nup from Hell.
Wait, the notes are based on this fic text post.
Jesus Christ.
Fox decides he wants financial compensation for the stress and woos Palpatine, and Palpatine thinks that stringing Fox along is the best way to keep his loyalty, and they both think they're playing the other and end up escalating things to marriage with a capital M. But Fox has a prenup with a capital P, so solid he divorces Sheev and gets like most of the Republic and saves the galaxy. This is not that story. This is an alternate version where Fox's plan fails and he ends up saving the galaxy much, much later. Now I need to click on this fucking Tumblr post.
I can't let you do that. We need
No,
to
no,
move
I'm-
on.
We need
I'm-
to move on.
This is
We need to move on.
I feel like I had one and I'm almost like now I feel dumb because mine was not that rich.
The Tumblr
can't.
post I'm gonna drop in the chat for you guys to look at
Please,
later.
I don't want to
because-
see it. I probably have the tag blocked, so I don't think I'll be able to access it.
I'm just
I have one.
No, there's fan art. No,
Claudia,
no, I'm making you look at the
Claudia.
fan art.
Claudia, this is an audio medium. Anyway, I'm gonna
I
have
feel
to ask
physically
you to
ill. I
We'll
feel like I'm
unpack that
gonna
later.
So valid, bestie. You're so valid for feeling physically ill after that.
I started
Anyways.
disassociating during all of that because I was like, what the fuck is this?
I have one. This one's not as fun as that, but it is. So this one I don't think is like inherently a bad or like cursed ship. It just took me so off guard that I was like, no, okay, pause. So this is rated teen and up. The characters that are not included in the main ship are, let me read, there's other background relationships. I'll read those as well. It's Padme Amidala and Anakin Skywalker and Cody and Obi-Wan Kenobi. The characters include Cody, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Padme Amidala, Pre Vizsla, Bo-Katan Kryze, Darth Maul, Savage Opress, Almec, 101st Legion, Star Wars, the 212th Attack Battalion, Ahsoka Tano. The additional tags are Marriage of Convenience, Alternate Universe Canon Divergence, Assassination Attempts, Friends to Lovers, Past Relationships, Kidnapping, Civil War, Corruption, Terrorists, other additional tags to be added, rating may change, Bounty Hunters, Rare Pairings. And I've not told you the title yet because it will give it away.
Did we talk
Okay.
about this yesterday?
I don't believe we did.
So none of the characters you just listed off were the main ship.
They are not in the main ship. I would say Marriage of Convenience and Assassination Attempts are probably the main thing. Jess?
Is Corky involved in this?
Corky is not in it.
Okay.
Can you
Everyone
give us-
just took a sigh of relief.
Can you give us a ballpark? So obviously these are Clone Wars characters, correct?
Correct, yes.
Is this a crack ship or is it a ship that we know sort of?
It is a ship that I have never seen and I have not known peace since I saw it.
Does
Okay.
it involve
gay.
Satine?
It does involve Satine.
Is it
Does
gay?
it involve Jar Jar?
It's not, I don't think this is a crack ship. Because I've actually seen this. I did look through the tag and it is tagged like as a background ship in other fics.
Is it Rex?
Is it Satine, Kryze, and Pre Vizsla?
It is Satine, Kryze, and Rex.
Okay, because I've
What?
seen that in the background of like a fuckload of fics, so that's actually not a surprise.
Where have y'all been on the internet? Wait,
Believe
what
it.
was the title? What was
The title of that is The Clone Consort.
I think I've seen that
No,
fucking thing.
the-
I
the
think
s-
I've seen it.
The summary is, marry me, she says bluntly. I beg your pardon, Duchess? He replies, bewildered, as his eyebrows almost reach his hairline.
I'm fucking same,
Well,
bitch.
You damn well heard what I said, Captain, Satine says with an amused smirk. He did, in fact, hear what she said. Now, only if his brain could think of some response so he can stop staring at her like an awestruck shiny. Update, on hiatus until end of the summer.
What?
On
It's not
hiatus
on
forever.
hiatus.
This actually has 11,000 words and 5 chapters so far.
Shut the
Oh.
fuck up.
Okay, here's the
Homophobic.
thing, though. This is not the worst thing.
Correct.
I
This is
think
true.
I showed you the worst thing ever.
I think it's important to note that like some of these that are being brought to the table, the ship is not cursed. It's the fact, it's the tags, it's the story that the tags tell is really what's
Correct.
the most important
Yeah.
thing. And
This
this
There's
is-
nothing wrong
yeah.
with the ship per se.
Very much
It's
like
very
the
Pair the Spares to me.
very much like the other one I was gonna bring, but then I realized Mel already knows it, which is Hunter/Hondo Onaka.
Wait, you shouldn't have spoiled that for us. I would have wanted to guess it.
I'm so sorry, but
wow.
I did have to say it. I tried, I just couldn't make it work. But no, this one, like I said, it's not inherently cursed, but it is something that when I read it, I feel like I was like, okay, pause.
I feel
What
like
is
just
that?
the tags on that one too. Like as soon as you were like marriage for convenience, I was like, who the fuck?
I
Like
also like, in what world is Satine marrying? I love Rex, but in what world is Satine marrying a clone and a member of the Galactic Army of the Republic? Convenient.
also a
It's
gay
not
man.
realistic
Yeah.
That's
love.
really weird. I mean, the
It's
fact that
not
she would marry a
realistic
homo.
love.
It just truly, it made me feel insane. And I had to share it with all of you because I had a draft on my
Okay.
TikTok being like, what is this? But then I was like, that's mean. So I
Wait,
had to bring it to you guys.
Speaking of Rex, who do we
Kang.
ship him with?
Saw Gerrera.
Sagara,
Yeah,
this is a
sorry.
Rex
I'm
Twitter
sorry.
account.
I'm sorry. I blinked. I am so sorry. That was insulting. Dear God.
Saw, I'm so
Your
sorry.
brain got fried by the Palpatine X-Fox.
Palpatine Fox.
Thanks so much for joining us this week for RuPaul's Pod Race. Episodes usually drop Sundays, but for updates and more curse shit, you can follow us on social media at RuPaul's Pod Race on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you got us the time, leave us a review. We're on Apple Podcasts now. It'd be super exciting to see you guys there. We will see you next week for another episode. May the force be with you, and don't criff it up.
Waka waka.
Okay. Waka waka.
Beat me to the fucking punch.
Oh.